guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys cash stuffing 101. So since past couple of months, I know a lot of new people have joined my channel and a lot of people keep commenting on my channel as to what exactly this budgeting method is, and a lot of people do talk about the kind of risk of these budgeting methods and also different kinds of things that come in the comments. So I'm here to give you a proper 101 of what exactly this method is, how you can make the most out of this budgeting method, and who exactly this budgeting method is suitable for. So now without further ado, let's get started. So first, let me tell you what exactly cash stuffing is. It's, of course, if you do a little bit research, you would know it's an envelope-based method of budgeting, and it was founded by Dave Ramsey, and he's been doing it for the past 25 years. And of course, he's debt-free, financially independent, etc., etc. But I feel like these days, the budgeting way, or you can say the way things have been so far in the financial world, is quite different than what it used to be, let's say 5-10 years back. So I really want to address these things and give you guys what are the pros and cons of having this budgeting method in the current finances or the current economical situation, and who should exactly follow this. Now, when it comes to India, guys, this budgeting method is fairly new. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. Although I have a store where I sell these supplies and quite a lot of make an inquiry, so I can assume that a lot of our viewers are well aware of this method and probably they have their own way of budgeting it. And it's something that we all have been practicing for a very long time. The only problem is that we have never given it a name. Well, this is something that is quite a well-known budgeting method in the US as well as in other part of countries. I've seen it a lot in Philippines, Australia, and of course your UK. I feel like it's predominantly more in the USA, and now it's coming to India as well. I have been using this budgeting method for the last 2 years, and you would have seen in my channel as well as on my lifestyle channel, which is Himani Shah, so I'll leave that below. So basically, it's an envelope-based budgeting method where categorically you budget your income or the way you've earned money or the kind of savings that you have. So if say this is a binder, and these kind of binders are available online as well as on my store, and in these binders you have envelopes. So let's say these are your envelopes, and these envelopes are labeled categorically so that you would know I'm saving for my rollover money. Then I've got some money set apart for emergency funds, then for medicals, then for birthday, then for self-care. So this way it is customizable. So let's say you have your rent, your car EMI, etc. So you have different budgeting methods for it, or different budgeting envelopes for that. And similarly, for your everyday expense in your wallet, you have these cash envelopes where basically I'll label it as petrol, dine out. Let's say if you're someone who frequently takes bus or public transport, then you will have bus or public transport or cab money. These categories are to ensure that, let's say every month I'm keeping aside 1,000 rupees for my public transport. I'll label this as public transport. I'll put in 1,000 rupees in here. So I know that next time when I'm traveling in a bus or in a train, I have to pick out money from this envelope only. That way I'm able to map how much of money have I spent in the entire month from this envelope, which is my public transport category. Similarly, if you have dine out, so I would know how much of money, let's say I have added 2,000 rupees, that every month I'm going to spend 2,000 rupees from dine out. So let's say at the month end I only have 500 rupees. So I would be able to calculate that, yeah, I spent 1,500 rupees last month on my dine out because I picked up money from this. So what this method does is, let's say whatever your paycheck is, you're able to categorize, break down your income into these different segments, and then you know that you have only this much of amount. So it's very restrictive. So I'll tell you how it helps. Let's say your salary is 20,000 and your expenses are only 10 to 15,000 rupees. So you still have that savings of 5-7,000 as per your calculation. But because you have that 20,000 credited in your bank account, you feel like you've got that money to spend. Let's say all your expenses are covered under 10 to 15,000, you still have that 5,000. So that creates the urge that, okay, let's go out for another fancy dinner. I have the money, I can spend 1,500 or 2,000 rupees more. So it doesn't restrict you. You have that liberty of spending that excess money. And again, it depends from person to person. Some people are very good at controlling. Some people are those impulsive buyers who will just end up spending. That's when these kind of methods come into the picture. Physically paying someone with cash, you tend to think twice that was it really worth it. You have that urge of, rethinking that expenditure because you're physically paying someone. Otherwise, if you're just doing a UPI transaction, you don't get that feel. Now, again, I want to clear out things here in India are quite different from things if you compare at US, because again, US doesn't have options like UPI like how we do, and they prefer more credit card transactions than compared to what people here in India do. What I wanted to say here is, again, it differs from person to person as well as from economy to economy, that is your country to country. But this was a quick explanation of how exactly cash stuffing is done, but I'll again get deep dive into it so that you guys are able to get a proper insight of what exactly is it that I promote and what are the ways you can sort of allocate your budget and use this. Now let's come to a very important part which so many people talk about, and if one of my videos gets a couple of views, like a couple of thousand views, I get so many comments that you should have invested this money, whatever. So let me talk about the risk of having this budgeting system. The very first thing is cash. So many people would talk that having so much of cash at home is a risk. You can lose it. What if something happens to the house? What if the money is burned? What if somebody steals it? And it is completely valid, guys. One should not have over and above a certain amount of cash money, which can also be called as an emergency money. So it's completely your call on how much cash you want to have with yourself at home or in your locker or however you like it, and of course how much cash you want to keep in your wallet as well. It's a very subjective decision. I personally feel on an average, if you have anywhere about 20 to 30, 40, 50,000 also at home, it's fine. I know a lot of people who have a lakh at home in case of any emergency that they need. So it's very subjective. And some people we all know might even have like 5-10 lakhs at home. So it's a very subjective decision, and I know the risk involving it. It is very unpredictable as well. So again here, depending on the area that you live, depending on your income and depending on the safety, you have to make a decision on an average, what is the maximum amount of cash you want to have in your house. So that's the first query that I've addressed. Coming to the next is rewards of credit cards or UPIs. I know these days we get a lot of cashbacks, a lot of offers, that is our discount offers on prepaid orders. So if you pay online, before getting the delivery, you get a bit more discount, and of course how convenient it is. Now I am actually with this point. I am a person who loves collecting credit card points and really like to repay my credit card bills on time. So I know how that works, and I personally feel these reward points do benefit you at a point. But again, it is subjective. If you're a person who feels like spending credit card money is basically free money, then you are not on the track. If you have no self-control on your spendings, especially when it comes to credit card spendings, and you are always in debt and filling only your minimum due, then this budgeting is for you. I'll also come to the part at what budget or at what salary or income you should look for this budgeting, or how much you should look for this budgeting. So that'll be my later part of the concern. But what I'm saying here is, I personally feel if you have a control on your finances, on your spending, please do not stop using your credit cards, your UPI. I am a person who personally promotes credit card transactions because it has a lot of benefits. So again, it's a personal decision, a subjective decision, but this is the answer for this query, that if you always pay by cash, you miss out on a lot of other benefits, which I completely agree on. Another important question that a lot of people would ask is the interest. I mean, even if you have 1,000 rupees in your savings account, your bank does pay interest to you. So if I have, let's say 20-30,000 lying in my house as cash, or what we call as liquid money, I'm not even earning a single interest out of it. If I would have kept this 30,000 in my bank, I would have at least got like 100 rupees, as an interest over a period of quarter. So again, that is very subjective. Now, to be honest, for me, if I keep 30,000 at home or in the bank and getting that 100 rupees of interest really doesn't add value to me. But however, if you are earning, let's say in lakhs, and if you have around 5 to 10 lakhs at home, and if you don't keep it in your savings account, then you're missing out on thousands of your interest. So again, see the amount of money that you have, the value it's adding, and of course compare it with the cost of inflation, and is that interest really adding anything? Now, this is again something that depends from person to person. I personally feel keeping a lot of money in your savings account is also pointless. You should always invest it. So this comes to my another point of investment. So I get so many of these comments that you should have invested in stock market, in SIP, in gold, and all of that. Now I will address about my personal investments in the later part, but I'm talking in general if you are a person who wants to try out this budgeting method. So see, coming to investments, again, it's very subjective. If you're a person earning a certain amount and you have a lot of in savings, then you should definitely invest. But if you're a person already earning very less amount, you're just meeting your everyday needs, then keeping out a certain investment aside is a bit difficult, you know. It's not that I don't promote investment. I'm always encouraging people to, you know, start their mutual fund accounts, start their stock investments, or even invest in gold. But again, you should have that much of bandwidth. Coming to these investments, I will make a separate video where I'll be giving you guys options of investment as well as how much you should invest as per your income and expenses. But I feel like, again, this is something that depends from your personal goals, your financial goals, or things that you want and how much money you want to save. So some people have this goal of just saving so that, you know, they can make the most out of the current salary that they have or the current responsibilities. However, some people have goals of making a house, or some people have goals of retiring early. So this is again subjective. I'm not denying the fact that keeping just liquid money is going to become stagnant in this current inflation state, which is absolutely true. So again, like I was saying, if I have 10,000 rupees as my monthly salary, how is it that I'm going to be able to save money as per the inflation, right? Because I'm sure that out of that 10,000, I would hardly be saving around 500 to 1,000 rupees. And if that also I put into investment, I have no money in hand. So again, it comes from person to person and their needs and lifestyle. This was the overview about the risks of cash stuffing. But now let's just talk about the benefits. I have been doing this for the last 2 years, and it really helps you, first of all, in emergencies. Emergencies these days are very uncalled for, and having this saved cash at home in certain amount is always helpful. Secondly, having this excess savings, because for me it's excess, I'll come to that later, but having these cash stuffing segregated in savings is very, very, very important, because first of all, you understand the value of segregating the money, you understand the value of not using beyond what is there or beyond what is kept in these pockets or these envelopes. So that's there. And very important part is you learn to control your expenses. Ever since I started using these everyday cash envelopes in my wallet, I've realized that if my petrol budget for the month is supposedly 1,000 rupees, I do not go beyond 1,000 rupees. And I have not gone beyond 1,000 rupees in the last 1.5 years on a monthly basis. That is because I know that this is my allocated budget. I do not need to go overboard with it. So yeah, it really helps with that. And again, it's very useful for your short-term goals. Something as simple as birthdays. Let's say you want to save around 15,000 for your next birthday so that you can buy something. But then again, if you just have that money being added up in your savings account and you would use it randomly, why not to have a separate cash allocated for that? And it's your short-term goals, guys. So your inflation is not going to come into the picture. That's what I was talking about. It depends on the wants and needs of one individual as well. Cash stuffing budget that I propose. So if you have been following me for a really long time, you would know this is something that I've always encouraged people to do. So you will just need a calculator and a pad. Now, first of all, decide the income slab you come into. So firstly, let's say your income is below 25,000. So I'm saying below 25,000. Let's say your income is between 25,000 to 50,000. Okay. Now let's say your income is between 50,000 to 1 lakh. And let's say your income is 1 lakh plus. Okay, and I'm talking about the majority of the sections here. If you're earning in crores every month, if you're earning in 5-10 lakhs every month, I don't think so this budgeting method is for you. Because I mean, sure, you have got a lot of financial advisors in your life who would help you out better, and there are different ways you can tackle your money. But I'm talking about the majority of the audience here who comes into these brackets. Say if your income every month is below 25,000, I personally feel your budgeting method should be 50-50. So what I mean by 50-50 is 50% of your income you do by cash stuffing, and 50% of your income you keep it in your bank and do your other transactions. So assuming that you have a salary of 25,000 and let's say you are staying in a 1 BHK house with your roommate and your rent is approximately, so let's do this, okay? So your salary is 25,000. You're staying in a 1 BHK home with a roommate where your rent is 7,000 rupees. So per person it's coming out to be 3,500. Your light bill is coming out to be 500. Your grocery bill is coming out to be 1,000. But your food expenses, that's your dine out expenses or your Swiggy Zomato, is coming out to be 3,000. So, this way you would know that these all are expenses that you can easily clear out with either cash or bank, depending on how you like to split. Some people prefer to split everything in cash. Some people use your split up formula. Some people use your apps, that just splits the bill. So again, it's depending on how you want to segregate this. But this is so helpful for people below the budget of below the income of 25,000 is because you are able to save more money. And this I have seen with people, because you have such restrictive income and you have a lot of more expenses, you can keep a cap on your, let's say, Swiggy Zomato. You can keep a cap on your transportation. You can keep a cap on your miscellaneous expenses, like, going to Miniso and buying something, or just a random movie ticket. So if you are coming under this slab, go for 50-50 method, assuming that you've kept around, 12,500 rupees in your bank. And then from that 12,500, you can start doing an SIP of 2,500. So you're still doing your investment. And the remaining 12,500 can come into this cash stuffing. If you have the income between 25,000 to 50,000, then you can go for 70:30 option. Here your 70% of the income is kept online or managed online and 30% is kept in cash. So this is again very helpful because of course you would be having your rents, you would be having your monthly groceries, your vegetable runs, etc. So 30% can be allocated in cash, and again you might be having bills to pay, your house help, all of that, and again those transactions happen in cash. So you will have a 70:30 breakdown. Then let's say you have 50,000 to 1 lakh. Now this, okay, here I would give you guys an option of 80-20 or 90-10. Now I personally am a person who prefers 90 to 10%, because I personally feel that having this budget breakdown is so much more convenient for a person like me. So you know what, this budget method is going to be very helpful for you, because let's say you're earning anywhere between 50,000 to 1 lakh every month, then 80-20%, again, this can be customizable, because let's say you have a lot of your expenses happening online, you're paying rent online, you're paying your Wi-Fi bill online, whatever. So 80% of your money is managed online. In this, your investments also come. So it also, addresses the fact about repaying your credit card bills. Or you can go for the 90-10%, which I usually go for, because 90-10% is so convenient. When 90% of your money, let's say you're earning 10,000 rupees. Okay, let's just do 1 lakh rupees. So let's say you're earning 1 lakh rupees. Out of this, 90,000 of your money is kept in the bank. 90,000 of your money is kept in the bank. So you know how you can budget it out. And the remaining 10,000 is something that you can cash stuff for your savings challenges or just to keep as an emergency fund. So yeah, this is how you can do. And if you're a person who is earning above 1 lakh, then you can either go for 95 to 5%, because see, at the end of the day, cash is something that everybody needs. Some certain expenses, like let's say paying for milk or paying to your house help, you really need to give them cash. I mean, at least in my house, that's how it is. So you will have to have this 95 to 5%. Or if you're a person who's earning, let's say, around 2 to 5 lakh rupees, then you can also have 98 to 2% of split up. Because see, I feel like the liquid money is always going to be beneficial. So even if you have 2% of 5 lakh as cash every month, budgeting it, I don't think so it's any risky. Because I'm sure with that other remaining amount, you're doing or taking care of your investments. And I would always promote that. So, this is the kind of cash stuffing budget layout you could have. Once you have your money allocated here, then you list down the categories. Let's say you have rent, you have house help, you have gifts, random gifts that you need to buy, you have miscellaneous, you have groceries. So, like that. It'll depend from person to person. So these are the kind of, breakdowns that you have to do and add the money. Let's say I pay 5,000 as rent. So 5,000 will go there. House help, I'll give 1,500. Gifts, I need to save 500. Miscellaneous, I need to save 500. Groceries, I need to save 1,500 in cash, like that. And then you will have your envelopes like this, so that next time, let's say you're going for your groceries, you know that I have to pick out money from this envelope only. It's very simple and convenient. And to be very honest, this method is again amazing. Lastly, guys, this method is great for housewives because I know they're always given cash and they need to take care of the monthly groceries and the other house needs. So they can budget their cash very effectively and save the most of it. So yeah, this was the major part about cash stuffing. Now in this cash stuffing, there are other important things that I have to tell you, or terminologies. First you have is your sinking funds. Your sinking funds are something that gets added over the time. Something like emergency funds. Now I will be making a separate video like this completely on emergency funds. So you guys get to know what is the exact purpose of emergency fund, how much you should have it, where you should keep it, and all of that. Now, secondly, another important thing that comes in these sinking funds are something that you're eventually going to use up, like your birthday. It's a sinking fund. So sinking fund is basically that category. Then you have your savings challenges like these ones that I have available. These savings challenges are really good for your short-term goals. Let's say you want to go on a vacation. Let's say you want to save up some money to buy a new phone. So all of these savings challenges I have, which are very much curated for Indian lifestyle. Got this quick buck challenge where, I have denominations as low as 10 rupees, which goes till 200 rupees. Then I have a just in case challenge for your rainy days. Then there is a bingo challenge. Then there's this let's go see the world challenge for 50,000. So over and above your budgets, you can start taking up these savings challenges to save a little extra money. And let's say this let's go see the world is for my vacation, and I have completed this challenge and collected 50,000 rupees for my vacation. I can either invest that 50,000 or I can just keep that 50,000 in my savings account once that challenge is done and later use it for my vacation. So that's there. And lastly, I wanted to talk about another thing. I have made, so again, I agree that you should not keep a lot of cash at home. So what I do, if you follow me, that let's say for my emergency fund, the moment there is 10,000 rupees collected in this cash envelope, I will remove and deposit that in my bank. So I know that, there's a separate fund building for my emergencies, and whatever savings that I'm doing physically in this cash over here, the moment my target of 10,000 is done over here, I deposit in the bank as my separate emergency fund account. So that is another practice that I do. The reason why I collect cash in first place is, like I told you, if you have some money in your bank, it's like an e-money. It's not a physical money that you can feel in your hands. So you don't really realize the amount of pain it's going to cause you eventually once you evaluate your bank statements. So yeah, guys, this was my take on cash stuffing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you do, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.